Hi, welcome to the Gemara on Yud Chad Amud Aleph. We're starting from the third wide line down on the page of the widest lines, and this is a review of Unit 3, sheet number 16. Kara al peh lo yatsa v'chulei. The Gemara begins with a quote from our Mishnah that if you read by heart, you haven't fulfilled your obligation. Minalan, the Gemara wants to know, from where do we get this idea? Amar Rava, Acha zechira, we derive or we bring the word zechira and the word zechira. So we're connecting these two words. And here's how it works. K'tiv hacha, it says there, v'hayamim ha'ela nizkarim. Start with nizkarim. These things are remembered or mentioned. Uktiv hatam, and it says there, k'tov zot zikaron b'sefer. And as we discussed in class, this is a reference to what happened with Amalek, that you have to write it down in a book. So because it uses the word zachor in both places, we're connecting them. Malahalan b'sefer, afkan b'sefer. So just as there, meaning in the case of Amalek, it has to be written down in a scroll, so too here it has to be written down in a scroll. Umimai dahai zachira kriyahi. And how do we know that this mentioning, this zechira, is actually reading? Dilma iyun ba'alma. Maybe it's just thinking about it, just sort of studying it in a general way. Lo salkadaitach. Don't think this, because it says zachor. I believe that the Masoret Hashas, I'm checking now, the Bach changes this to Titania, so we can change that here in the text. It should actually say Titania, and we'll take it out of parentheses. So as we learn in a Breitza, Zachor, this word Zachor in the Pasuk, and again in Zachor Asher Asalacha Amalek, talking about Amalek, Yachol Balev. You might think this means in your heart, right? That you should just remember it. This would sort of match with Iyun Ba'alma, right? That you can just think about it. You don't have to actually say anything, you can just think about it. So that's what you might think. Keshehu omer lo tishkach, but when the pasuk goes on to say lo tishkach, right? Not just remember Amalek, but don't forget Amalek. Harei shechachat halev amor. That's talking about forgetting in your heart, meaning that's the internal piece. That's the just thinking about it piece. Hama ani mekayem zachor b'peh. So how do I uphold, or how do I understand the word zachor? B'peh, with my mouth, or with the mouth, meaning verbally. So in other words, we're playing on the double language, zachor asher asalacha Amalek, and then lo tishkach. You have to remember it and you have to not forget it. So the Breitza says lo tishkach, that's the internal mental piece, and so zachor has to be something else. It can't just be redundant. So that's verbally remembering it, commemorating it. That's making sure that you know exactly what's going on. And saying it out loud. Okay, we're moving on to the next piece of the Mishnah. Kara targum lo yatsa v'chulei. So if you read it translated into a different language, you do not fulfill your obligation. Heichi dami. Literally, what is this like? What's the case? What's the situation here? Ilema diktiva mikra v'kari la targum. If you would say that it's written in Hebrew and you're reading it in a different language, Hainu al peh. That's the same as reciting it by heart, right? If you have it written in Hebrew and you're reciting it in French, then you're basically reciting it by heart, and we already said that's forbidden. Lo tzricha. No, this is necessary. Diktiva targum v'kari la targum. This is telling us about a case where it's written in a different language and you're reading it in a different language. So you shouldn't think this is a case where you're just translating on the fly. That for sure is precluded by the other part of the Mishnah. It has to be that we have a specific prohibition against reading it in a different language, even though it's written in a different language. Okay, moving on in the Mishnah. Aval korino talalo azot belaz v'chulei. But you can read it to speakers of another language in that other language. V'ha'amart kara b'chol hashon lo yatsa? Question mark, exclamation point. Right, but didn't you just say that if you read it in some other language, you didn't fulfill your obligation, right? I thought you just told me I can't do that. Now you're telling me I can. It seems like a contradiction within the Mishnah. And does Rashi comment here? Well, We skipped a few Rashis, but that's okay. We will go on. Rav Shmuel de Amri Travaihu Bila as Yavani. Rav and Shmuel both say that you can read it, the language you can read it in is Greek, right? The foreign language in which you can read it is Greek. Hechidami, what's the situation? What case is this? Ilema diktiva ashurit v'kari la Yavanit, hainu al peh. It's the same problem that we mentioned before. If you want to say that what Rav and Shmuel are talking about is a case where it's written in Hebrew but you're reading it in Greek, that would match with reading it by heart, and that we already know is not allowed. So it can't be that. Amar Rav Acha, Amar Rabbi Elazar, shektuva v'laz Yavanit. No, it's written in Greek and you're reading it in Greek. That's how he interprets Rav and Shmuel's position. Now we have a little agadic interlude. The Amar Rav Acha, Amar Rabbi Elazar, another statement by the same person. Minayin shekaru HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yaakov El. How do we know that God referred to Yaakov as El? Shene'emar, as it says in the pasuk, Vayikra lo Elokei Yisrael. This pasuk is in Breshit. We talked about it a little bit when we went over this in class, but now I have the opportunity to show you the whole thing. Vayatzav sham mizbeach vayikra lo Elokei Yisrael. So he put up an altar and he called it God, the God of Israel. So the person doing the putting up of the mizbeach is definitely Yaakov. The question is about this part of the pasuk. Is who called whom Elokei Yisrael? Right? What exactly is that talking about? It kind of sounds like Yaakov called the mizbeach that. That's a little strange. So this opinion is saying that this is God calling Yaakov El. Because if you were to think that Yaakov called the Mizbeach El, Vayikra lo Yaakov mibayile, then it should have said Yaakov called it El, right? It should have specified that pronoun. Ella, rather, Vayikra lo Yaakov El. Rather, what it's saying is he called Yaakov El. Umikaro El, and who was it who called him El? Elokei Yisrael, the God of Israel. Okay, that was our little agadic interlude. Now we're coming back to the subject at hand. Meitzveh, we have a contradictory braita. Kara giftit ivrit ilmit madit ivanit lo yatsa. If you read it in any of these languages, if you read Megillah in any of these languages, you did not fulfill your obligation. Rashi gives you a little bit of information about some of these languages. Oh, actually, that comes later on. That's okay, but we're not going to focus on what languages these are. Just you'll notice Rashi says, Meitzveh l'Rav Shmuel diktani hachayavani lo yatsa. Right? He's specifying that the Meitzveh is to Rav and Shmuel, to their point about Greek. So the problem, of course, is that this says that if you read in Greek, lo yatsa, and Rav and Shmuel implied that if you read in Greek, it's fine. Halo damya elalaha. This is not the same, this is only similar to this. And here's the this. Giftit legiftim, ivrim, ilmit leilmim, yavanit leyavanim. Yatsa. You can read, when you read in any language to the speakers of that language, meaning, let's say, to Greeks in Greek, then you have fulfilled your obligation. Right? That's the case that Rav and Shmuel are talking about. So the ha that's similar to the ha, right? Rav and Shmuel's statement is similar to or connected to that braita. Rashi says halo damya terutzahu, right? Terutza is an answer. So he's telling you this statement introduces, or this phrase halo damya elaha introduces the answer to this contradiction, solves the contradiction. But now we have a problem. Ihachi, if this is the case, Rav Shmuel amai mukmilal ma'nitin belaz yavanit. If so, Rav and Shmuel, why do they uphold our Mishnah as being about non-Hebrew, which is Greek? Why is Greek the language in which they say our Mishnah applies? Lukma b'cholaz. It should apply to any non-Hebrew, right? If we're saying that their statement is identical with the statement that says, read to speakers of the language in that language, so it shouldn't matter Greek versus another language. Ela matnitzin kebraita. Rather, our Mishnah is like the braita. Right? Our Mishnah for sure matches the Breita, meaning our Mishnah and this Breita, this one here, are both saying that this one here, are both saying that when you read to speakers of, let's say, French in French, that's fine. When you read to speakers of German in German, that's fine. That's what the Mishnah and the second Breita are both saying. So how about Rav and Shmuel? V'chi Itzmar de Rav Shmuel, ba'alma Itzmar. And when Rav and Shmuel said their statements, it was stam, it was casual, they were just making a statement about Greek, but not about our Mishnah. Rav Shmuel da'amri travahu la zivani l'chol kasher. They were saying, so they both say that Greek is kosher for everything. They were just making a general statement about the kashrut of Greek. V'hakatani yavanit le'yavanim in l'chol alma lo. But that's not really true that Greek is okay for everything, because didn't we learn hakatani? This is a challenge word. Put it in red. Didn't we learn that Greek is okay only if you're reading to Greeks, right? Greek to Greeks, yes, but to the rest of the world, no. You can't read in Greek to speakers of French, so it's not actually true that that Greek has this special kosher status. Inhu da'amor karashbag. So they were saying like Rashbag. They were holding like Rashbag. Titzna'n, as we learn in the Mishnah. Rashbag omer, af sfarim lo hitziru shichtavu el yavanit. We've actually learned this Mishnah before. Rashbag said that even sfarim, even holy books, can only be written in Greek, meaning besides Hebrew, the only other language they can be written in is Greek. And that's what Rav and Shmuel are commenting on. They agree with Rashbag. V'leimru halacha karashbag. So if that's what they think, let them say the halacha is Rashbag. Why make this sort of ambiguous statement about Greek? So here's the response to that challenge. I amri halacha karashbag, hava amina, hani mile shar sfarim, aval Megillah, tichtiv ba kichtavam, emal lo. If they had said the halacha is like Rashbag, I would have had a havamina, I would have incorrectly thought that these words refer to other books. But Megillah, because it says within it the word kichtavam, like its writing, I would have said no. Meaning, if they had said halacha was like Rashbag, I would have thought that applied to all books except Megillah, because I would have somehow known, perhaps from reading the previous Gemara, that Megillah has a special status, and you actually can't translate the Megillah into Greek. Kamash malan. Therefore we learn it, or this is what we learn. Meaning, so from the fact that it doesn't just say halacha karashbag, we learn that Rav and Shmuel think that you can translate Megillah into Greek, which is not consistent, or not totally consistent, apparently, with what Rashbag said. Again, just notice in the Rashis that he defines some of the languages for you, but we're not going to be sort of hung up on that. The main point here again is that we've confirmed the opinion in our Mishnah. You can read Megillah in other languages only to speakers of that language, and Greek really doesn't have a special status with regard to reading the Megillah, unless you happen to speak Greek. However, Rav and Shmuel did think that you could write the Megillah in Greek, in addition to other books like Rashbag. Okay, moving on in the Mishnah, v'haloa sheshama ashuri yatsa v'chulei. And we also learned in the Mishnah that a speaker of a foreign language has fulfilled his obligation or her obligation if they hear it in Hebrew. V'halo yadamai ka'amre. But they don't know what's being said, right? Maybe it doesn't make sense to say that you can fulfill your obligation in Megillah when you have no idea what was just read to you. Mirei dahava anashim va'amei haaretz. This is just like, the Gemara, mirei dahava means the same as, so this is just like women and amei haaretz. Women and, I think in class we defined amei haaretz as kind of simple folk, regular, unlearned people. Maskifla Ravina attacks this idea. He contradicts the idea. Atu anan ha'chashronim b'nei haramachim miyadinan. Do we meaning the rabbis, do we actually understand the words Ha-chashronim b'nei haramachim? Do any of us actually understand that? Like, nobody actually understands those words. It's just part of the Megillah, and you read it anyway. Ella, rather, mitzvat kriya u'persumei nisa hachanami, mitzvat kriya u'persumei nisa. Rather, the mitzvah, the obligation, is to read it and publicize the miracle. So here too, you have the mitzvah of reading and persumei nisa. So apparently we're not persumei nisa. I think I don't have that Rashi here, but Rashi does say about persumei nisa, afal pi she'en yodin ma sheshomin, even though you don't know what you're hearing. Shoalin es hashomin, they ask the other people who are hearing. Ve'omrin mahi hakriya hazo ve'ech hanes umodi'in lahen. Just the fact that there's this public Hebrew reading going on, you'll be like, I don't really know what's going on, and you'll ask other people, and they'll tell you, and that's how the persumei nisa will come about. There's something about a public Hebrew performance that publicizes the miracle, that causes people to ask questions, much like the Pesach Seder, sort of performance art, and that itself is persumei nisa, and that's why you can read it in Hebrew even to people who don't speak Hebrew. Okay, we'll stop there.